Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive into the fascinating world of global politics and power. Tonight we're looking at Georgian politics, where one man seems to have bought an entire country. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about a billionaire who has such immense influence that it feels like he owns the place. His name is Bidzina Ivanishvili. If you haven't heard of him, you're in for a wild story. He's not just a regular billionaire, he's like the Beyoncé of billionaires. Imagine the kind of wealth and influence that can shape an entire nation's future. But instead of hit songs, he's got political parties and lots of questions about his power. His influence stretches far beyond just his bank account. Ivanishvili is worth a massive $7.6 billion. That's not just pocket change, it's a fortune that can sway economies and governments. That's a lot of money, even for a billionaire. To put it in perspective, it's enough to buy multiple islands or even small countries. That's about a quarter of Georgia's entire GDP. Imagine having that kind of financial clout in a country where the average person struggles to make ends meet. Imagine if Elon Musk bought Twitter, but instead he bought a whole country. It's that crazy. The level of control and influence is almost unimaginable. So how did this guy get so powerful? What are the secrets behind his rise to such a dominant position? And what does it mean for this small country between Russia and the West? Georgia's strategic location makes this story even more intriguing. Get ready, because we're about to uncover the story of the billionaire running Georgia. Stay tuned as we delve into the life, wealth, and influence of Bidzina Ivanishvili and what it means for the future of Georgia. Our story begins, like many good stories, back in the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was a vast and complex entity, a superpower that spanned multiple time zones and cultures. It was a place of both immense opportunity and severe restriction, where the state controlled almost every aspect of life. Yet even in such a controlled environment, there were those who saw opportunities where others saw only limitations. Ivanishvili, a smart guy from a simple background, saw a chance when the Soviet Union fell apart. Born into a modest family, he was no stranger to hard work and perseverance. As the Soviet Union crumbled, the economic landscape of Eastern Europe was in chaos, but for Ivanishvili, it was a land of untapped potential. He started trading metals, buying factories for very cheap, and quickly became super rich. The collapse of the Soviet Union had left many state-owned enterprises in disarray, and Ivanishvili was quick to capitalize on this. He bought up factories at rock-bottom prices, often for mere pennies on the dollar, and turned them into profitable ventures. His knack for business and his ability to navigate the turbulent post-Soviet economy set him apart from his peers. By the time he went back to Georgia, he was a true oligarch. His wealth had grown exponentially, and he had become one of the richest men in the region. Returning to his homeland, he was no longer just a successful businessman. He was a symbol of what could be achieved in the New World Order. His return to Georgia marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for him, but for the entire country. Think Roman Abramovich, but he likes Georgian wine instead of soccer. While Abramovich became famous for his ownership of Chelsea Football Club, Ivanishvili's interests were more local. He invested heavily in Georgian culture, particularly its renowned wine industry. His love for Georgian wine was not just a personal preference, it was a statement of his commitment to his roots and his desire to see his country prosper. Now, having tons of money doesn't automatically make you king, but it helps when you get into politics. Ivanishvili understood that true power in his homeland required more than just wealth. It required influence. And in a country like Georgia, influence often came through political means. His entry into politics was not just a whim, it was a calculated move to shape the future of his country. And he did just that. In 2012, Ivanishvili started the Georgian Dream Party. The party's name might sound whimsical, but it was anything but a joke. It was a carefully crafted brand designed to resonate with the hopes and dreams of the Georgian people. The party promised a new era of prosperity and reform, and Ivanishvili's financial backing gave it the credibility it needed to gain traction. The name sounds made up, but it wasn't a joke. Georgian Dream quickly became a formidable force in Georgian politics. With Ivanishvili's resources and strategic vision, the party was able to mount a serious challenge to the incumbent government. It wasn't just about money, it was about a vision for a better Georgia, one that resonated with the electorate. This party, powered by Ivanishvili's money and promises of a better future, won the election, ending 10 years of rule by another party. The victory was a turning point in Georgian politics. It signaled the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. where the influence of a single billionaire could reshape the destiny of a nation. The celebrations were not just for a political victory, they were for the dawn of a new era. Georgia didn't know it, but they were about to be ruled by a billionaire. Ivanishvili's rise to power was a testament to the changing dynamics of post-Soviet states. His story is not just about personal success. It's about the transformative power of wealth and vision in shaping the future of a nation. As Georgia embarked on this new journey, the world watched closely, eager to see what the future would hold under the leadership of a man who had turned Soviet riches into Georgian power. Here's where things get interesting. The story of Georgian Dream is not just about a political party, it's about the man behind it all. Bidzina Ivanishvili, a billionaire businessman, founded Georgian Dream in 2012. Despite his immense influence, he didn't take a prominent role in the government. He served as prime minister for just over a year, from October 2012 to November 2013, to establish his authority. After that, he stepped back, preferring to wield his power from the shadows. Imagine a rich Wizard of Oz, but instead of a curtain, he's hiding behind the facade of not being officially in charge. His wealth and connections allow him to pull the strings without being in the spotlight, but don't be fooled. Ivanishvili's influence permeates every corner of Georgian politics. His presence is felt in every major decision and policy. Government officials, party members, they all align with his vision. They know that to stay in power they must follow his lead. Leaders come and go, but Ivanishvili remains the constant force. His influence is like an invisible hand guiding the party's direction. He's like a political cockroach, resilient and enduring. Despite the challenges and changes in the political landscape, Ivanishvili has maintained his grip on Georgian Dream, ensuring it operates according to his will. His story is a testament to the power of influence and wealth in politics. Ivanishvili's ability to control from behind the scenes makes him a true puppet master, orchestrating the moves of Georgian Dream with precision and strategy. So how does one man control a whole country? Well, besides the obvious answer, billions of dollars, Ivanishvili controls a lot of Georgia's economy. Banks, media companies, construction, you name it. Ivanishvili probably owns part of it. This much economic power is like giving a kid a flamethrower and the keys to a fireworks factory. It's dangerous. Critics say Ivanishvili's economic power lets him influence government decisions to help himself. It's like the saying, "He who pays the piper calls the tune." And in Georgia, Ivanishvili is paying. This makes people worry about fairness in Georgia's economy. It's good to have a billionaire investing, but not when it controls the whole country. Section 5, caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war. Georgia is stuck in a tough spot between Russia, its big neighbor, and the West, with its promises of democracy and a good economy. It's like being stuck between a bear and an eagle. Both are scary. Georgia wants to join the European Union and NATO, which would make it closer to the West and protect it from Russia. But the current government, influenced by Ivanishvili, seems friendly with Moscow, which worries the West. It's awkward, like a family dinner where everyone's pretending to be happy but isn't. Georgia is trying to be friends with both sides, but it's risky. Section 6. The Russian Law and its Implications. One controversial thing the Georgian Dream government did was the Foreign Influence Law. Many see this law as a way to stop people from disagreeing and copying Russia. The law says organizations getting money from other countries have to register as foreign agents. Seems simple, right? But critics say this is a way to make independent media and anyone who criticizes the government look bad. It's like saying you can speak freely, but everyone will think you work for another country. This law, called the Russian Law by opponents, is seen as bad for Georgia's democracy. Section 7. Can democracy survive a billionaire's grip? The big question is, can democracy work when one billionaire has so much power? Ivanishvili's supporters say he's a good businessman helping Georgia. They talk about his investments in infrastructure and social programs. But many Georgians worry their country is becoming a one-man show. Too much power in one person, not enough transparency, and less democracy are bad signs. It's a classic story of the rich versus everyone else, but in Georgia. Will Georgians get their democracy back, or will Ivanishvili control everything? Section 8. Georgia's uncertain future. Georgia's future is unclear, stuck between what people want and the political reality. Georgia has to choose between Ivanishvili's style of democracy or a more open government. This choice is important for Georgia and the whole area. A democratic Georgia, close to the west, could be an example for other countries, but a Georgia controlled by Russia would be bad for democracy. The stakes are high, and the future is uncertain. The people of Georgia, who are strong and believe in a better future, control their destiny. The world is watching. Section 9. A cautionary tale of power and influence. So, that's the story of Bidzina Ivanishvili, the billionaire who bought a country. It reminds us that money can buy power and hurt democracy. It's a classic story of power and greed, but it's also a story of hope, showing how people resist tyranny. The fight for Georgia's future isn't over, but the world is watching, and what happens in Georgia is important for everyone.